When these rappers get not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up.
I ain't got nothing to do with what's in your mind and what you want to project. I just know your destruction makes money. You came to provide y'all destruction, and it's gonna benefit me and my family. Why would I turn you down? Do you turn down the pregnant drug addict who's trying to buy crack from you, brother?
I'm gonna say some anti-Semitic shit. I'm a nigga. I'm a That's the real anti-Semitic shit that the Jewish people get paid off.
Most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question.
So while everyone's busy arguing over who had the more disrespectful diss track, Julio or why Ace Katt Williams and Charleston White has swooped in with a major reality check, they're here to remind us that the real winners in all these rap beefs aren't the rappers themselves, but the big shots behind the scenes, the record labels. According to Katt, none of this violence and death in the rap industry is random. It's all part of a big scheme by those pulling the strings to promote beefs and violence, practically sacrificing these young artists for profit. But Charleston White has a slightly different take on this. While he agrees that record labels do profit from the destruction within Black communities, he said that there's still something called accountability, and at the end of the day, these rappers have a choice in whether they want to promote that kind of lifestyle in their music. And then let's not also forget that whole rap music to prison pipeline that Ice Cube recently highlighted, which adds another layer to the narrative about labels using young Black men as pawns, literally making money off their early deaths.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons. So,
literally the same people?
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons.
So yeah, this rabbit hole is as dark and deep as it sounds, so buckle up because I'm about to break it all down for you.
So they killed this $20 million guy, but they reaped $60 million in benefits.
Wow.
And they had some people from your city do it.
Wow.
I'm saying there's the good side and the bad side of these businesses.
It's been 2 weeks since the Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio was down in Tampa, Florida, and the violence is already spiraling. Just 6 days after Foolio's death, young is rumored affiliate Darius Fizzle Beals was also K in Florida. Fizzle was the brother of Malik Laylo Leak Bills, another one of Yin's affiliates, who was tragically killed in September 2020 at just 18 years old. So just like everyone predicted, the cycle of violence continues and is only getting worse. Foolio's death hasn't changed the thing. These young men are still throwing away their lives and each other over rap beefs. Clearly, none of these rappers involved in these pointless feuds are coming out as winners. I mean, sure, they might get a diss track to trend, make some money, and gain some fans who enable their reckless music, but at the end of the day, for most of them, it's only a matter of time before they end up like Foolio. So why do these Black men keep perpetuating the cycle of violence despite losing friends and family members, getting locked up for life, or getting K themselves? Well, there's been a lot of buzz lately about how these young men are nothing but pawns shaped by their environment and brainwashed from a young age to believe that this street life makes them cool. These young rappers are lured into a dangerous lifestyle thinking it's their ticket to fame and fortune. But in reality, they're just pawns in a game where their lives are expendable and their deaths are profitable. And then there are rumors that record labels deliberately sign artists who make rap drill and similar genres that glorify gang culture and senseless violence. Did you know that, according to multiple studies, is the leading cause of death for more than half of hip-hop artists? As you can see in this chart, out of all major music genres, rap and hip-hop have the lowest life expectancy for artists, and this is exactly what Katt Williams was talking about in one of his viral interviews. He pointed out that all these recent deaths of young rappers are far from coincidental. According to Katt, every time one of these young artists dies, there's someone higher up raking in a ton of money off their demise.
When these rappers get not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up and up.
The local rapper who survived a shooting near the St. John's Town Center earlier this week is now out of the hospital and behind bars. His younger brother and 2 friends died in that same drive-by shooting, but now after being released from the hospital, Katt Bullard, also known as Young and Ace, is in jail for violating probation. Our Shelby Danielson is at the detention center with more about why this has created the firestorm of controversy for JSO.
At least a dozen family members were here to support the lone survivor of the quadruple shooting who faced a judge this morning. His attorney tells us, though, that he thinks his client should still be in the hospital.
He's got, I think, 13 or 14 bullet holes in him. He still has 8 bullets in him that have not been removed yet.
Attorney David Haas says 20-year-old Katt Bullard had to leave the hospital early because he didn't have health insurance, but now he says that's complicating things, although he doesn't deny his client violated probation.
The jail staff was very supportive to him last night. He had to go back to the hospital last night for retreating of his wounds.
Since his arrest, World Star, a popular hip-hop blog, wrote about it on Instagram, calling for the public to contact JSO about it. The post received thousands of likes and comments. On Facebook, JSO responded to the influx of calls, writing, quote, "We are receiving hundreds of calls in our communication center in a short amount of time due to a social media post. We would like to remind people that the misuse of 911 or the 911 system is..."
But Katt didn't stop there. He also alleged that when a rapper is sacrificed, the high-ups usually arrange for someone from the rapper's own city to take them out. It's like a final humiliation tactic, adding insult to injury. This sinister move ensures the rapper's downfall is even more devastating and personal, stirring up even more drama and chaos in the community.
So they $20 million guy, but they reaped $60 million in benefits.
Wow.
And they had some people from your city do it.
Wow.
I'm saying there's the good side and the bad side of these businesses.
According to CA, in the entertainment industry, most things aren't as they seem. Even when something looks like a coincidence or just bad luck, you can bet it's been carefully planned and orchestrated behind the scenes with someone profiting from it. It's all a part of the game, and there's always someone pulling the strings to ensure they come out on top.
Somebody benefited. Yeah. So in all of these situations, there's a business involved and there's real money involved, and somebody's benefiting from this thing that looks like, oh, that just happened. Nah, no way.
Police say a man was chased and then shot and killed.
These groups, I won't name them, they know who they are. We're not going to tolerate any retribution, any revenge.
3 deadly shootings happening across our area overnight.
A man was found dead in a garage on Jacksonville's south side this morning.
Now, some are quick to dismiss all of this as conspiracy theory, but Katt is not the first person to allege that record labels carefully pick and choose what type of music will get promoted. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane back to 2012, when Corrections Corporation of America, one of the 2 companies that have a monopoly on the private prison industry in the U.S., made a bold move by reaching out to 48 states with an offer to buy their prisons. But there was a catch. In exchange for a 20-year contract, the states had to promise that the prisons would maintain at least a 90% occupancy rate for the entire duration. But how could state governments ensure such a high level of prison occupancy for 20 years? What tactics would they use to keep the prisons full? Well, brace yourselves for another bombshell. Just 2 months after Katt's proposal, an anonymous email reportedly circulated among individuals in the music and PR sectors. This email described a secret meeting where it was allegedly decided that hip-hop and rap music would be manipulated to boost profits for privatized prisons. The email's author, claiming to be a former industry insider, described being present at a secret meeting in 1991, and he called it one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. Here's what the email said happened at the meeting. Quickly after the meeting began, one of my industry colleagues thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by his first name and gave no further details about his personal background. The speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement. He explained that the companies we work for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. The author of the email then goes on to describe how he was initially confused and didn't understand what private prisons had to do with music. but then they told him that the major record label owners had become silent investors in the prison business, which meant it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. The email continues, "Our job would be to help make this happen by marketing music that promotes criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for companies, and as employees we'd also be able to buy personal stocks in these prisons." According to the author of this email, everyone in the meeting was reminded that they had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking about this publicly, or even with those who attended the meeting they were also reportedly told that this was bigger than the music business and nothing they'd want to challenge without risking consequences. And then after a few months, Haas, the man who wrote this email, said he started noticing popular rap music was changing direction. Quote, "Rap acts that talked about politics or harmless fun were quickly fading away as gangster apps started dominating the airwaves. Only a few months had passed since the meeting, but I suspect that the ideas presented that day had been successfully implemented. It was as if the order had been given to all major label executives. The music was climbing the charts, and most companies were more than happy to capitalize on it. Each one was churning out their very own gangster rap acts. On an assembly line, everyone bought into it. Consumers included. Violence and abuse became a central theme in most rap music." End quote. The author of the email talked about how this made him leave the music industry for good, and he eventually moved to Europe to live a quiet life away from all that craziness. But the meeting also motivated him to start researching how the U.S. prison industrial complex works, and he said it made him realize how the criminalization of rap music played a big part in promoting racial stereotypes and misguided so many impressionable young minds into adopting these glorified criminal behaviors, which often lead to incarceration. So back in 2012, when this explosive email first leaked to the press, multiple major publications, including Business Insider, reported on it. But as the email started gaining a ton of attention, the mainstream media quickly swooped in to discredit it, declaring it was fraudulent. But this theory has persisted to the present day. And with the state of modern music today, there's been a lot of buzz about the shadowy industry bigwigs who supposedly control the entire industry.
Start digging into allegations of the CIA, the FBI, the Mossad having tentacles in the music industry. You wind up at total rumors like this. Former CIA agent admits agency created gangster rap to fill private prisons by glamorizing criminality. Claims like famous hip-hop lyrics of the legendary hip-hop outfit NWA were even scripted by a team of psychologists and war propagandists inside the CIA, according to this former agent. Obviously, these are just totally rumors and conspiracy theories, no truth to this whatsoever. But it leads you to people like Leor Cohen, who might be the most influential person in the last 100 years of music, because he ran Def Jam and made Jay-Z who he is, including Redman, Method Man, DMX, Ja Rule, Ludacris. But it doesn't stop with rap music. We got Bon Jovi, Mariah Carey, Shania Twain, Elvis Costello, Ashanti, Nickelback, Slipknot, Sum 41, The Killers, Slayer. But then we've also got his protege, Julie Greenwald, that got elevated through this merger that he brokered and managed the Black Keys, Bruno Mars, Death Cab for Cutie, Jason Mraz, Kid Rock, Lupe Fiasco, Wiz Khalifa. That would be this Julie Greenwald. And then we've got Lucian Grange, the CEO of Universal Music Group. He's the one that is directly implicated and named in this lawsuit. And so what you wind up with is a rap industry, a music industry that is full of people that are creating the types of music that the people above them, that the people that hire them, that the people that manage them want them to make. They're all terrified of stepping on the wrong toes or getting out of line or doing what they're not supposed to for one blackmail reason or the other. And we wind up with an entire industry full of musicians that are glorifying gangs and violence and I mean, think about it. There's no better way to undermine an entire population, an entire race, an entire culture than to target their kids with subversive messages that they're going to think is cool, and the parents can't say about it because then the kids will just think it's cool.
But let's now circle back to Charleston White because he has a slightly different perspective on this. According to him, while record labels most definitely profit off of ignorant music and violence within Black communities, at the end of the day, it's up to the individuals involved to decide if they want to sign contracts with these labels.
When you show up to my record label with your music, I ain't behind what you wrote.
The white man is for sure.
You wrote them before you got here.
And you just gave $1 million for it.
But you wrote it. But listen, listen, brother, I'm a businessman.
Right.
I ain't got nothing to do with what you wrote. You wrote the lyrics talking about your neighbor.
But you didn't tell me, no, this is what you're
Listen,
supposed
brother,
to be writing.
listen,
You
brother,
said, I'm
brother,
going to give you $1 million for this.
Brother, but listen.
So you encouraged it.
No, I didn't.
With the utmost dollar amount.
No, I didn't. I'm a businessman and I'm about business. Because when you stop rapping this and I get a Nas X and he can rap gay, I'm gonna sign him too. And you showed up with these gay killer lyrics, brother. I ain't got nothing to do with what's in your mind and what you want to project. I just know your destruction makes money. You came to provide y'all destruction, and it's gonna benefit me and my family. Why would I turn you down? Do you turn down the pregnant who's trying to buy crack from you, brother? What about the girl who may look underage and selling? Do you turn her down? What about your homeboy's woman who's in a compromised state and you can, when she come to you, do you turn her down? So you want me to turn you down? And I can make trillions off your ignorance. The schools don't turn you away when your mother comes sign you up and register you. So why do you want me to turn you away? You want to be famous. You want to be a rapper. And the only way you can do this if you come to me. You're not bringing me nothing positive that I can promote to Disney. I can make you richer than you can ever be if you wrote me some Disney lyrics. Hey, if you just want to be like Nick Cannon, I can make you a star forever. But you want to be a star just for a small time, so you write gangster lyrics because you don't want to live long. You don't want to be like Nick Cannon. So you're not a Nick Cannon kind of guy. So you show up this gangster, you and all your gangster buddies from your hood, and you're blaming me because your mind wrote these lyrics. All of that hate that you're professing, I didn't whisper that in your ear. I didn't pick your mother and your father when they made it, and your dad left your mom, to go. I didn't have nothing to do with that, guy. Why are you blaming me as a white man? I didn't kick in your door and rob you and tie you up. I didn't kill your father. Why are you blaming me, the white man? I got a record label, brother. We just want to sell records to your people. And if we don't have these records to sell to your people, how will your people make music? Your people don't have record labels. How would they make music if it wasn't for us?
As for fans, they're saying both Katt Williams and Charleston White have a point. While it's true that the rappers choose to write certain types of music and promote violence, it's also true that choices are not made in a vacuum. And when young people are brought up in a certain environment, their choices will be inevitably shaped by what they see around them. But let me know how you feel about all this. Do you think the blame is squarely on the record labels and industry puppet masters? Or are these artists who promote violence in their music to blame for the deaths of young rappers like Foolio? Leave your thoughts in the comments and make sure you stick around for this next story.